Well, hello everyone. I'm so excited this morning, or this afternoon, I should say, to introduce Ricardo Lucero. He's the first guy in this whole series for Successful in the SLV, and this is so awesome. He comes from a family that I absolutely adore. His tia has been one of my best friends since we were little kids, and his grandma is like a second mom to me. So anyway, I will let him tell us a little bit more about himself. He is currently serving in the military, and just let him tell us a little bit more about what that's like.
Yeah, so I am Ricardo Lucero. I am a staff sergeant in the Air Force. I am part of the Special Warfare section of the Air Force, so it's a little different, and I'll explain that a little bit today. But I'm I guess going on 4 years. I just passed 4 years now, so I made staff sergeant my first testing cycle, which is awesome. I grew up in the San Luis Valley. I grew up in San Luis. I went to school at Sierra Grande. I graduated and went to college for 2 years, about almost 2 years, just shy of 2 years at University of New Mexico in Albuquerque. Decided it really wasn't for me. I was doing the ROTC path, so I was planning on being in the Air Force at some point as an officer. Decided to enlist, and I decided that I didn't want to just do regular Air Force job. So I tried out for the Special Warfare community, which is essentially like special operations, Army, Green Berets, Navy SEALs, Marine Corps, MARSOC. It's the Air Force's version of that. So yeah, that's what I do. My job is a joint terminal attack controller. So within the Special Warfare community, there's a few different things. There's PJs, CCTs, TAC-Ps, and SEER specialists. I'm a TAC-P. So my qualification is a joint terminal attack controller. Every branch of the military has it, but essentially what we do is control airstrikes. So it's our job to integrate with the Army and figure out what it is that the Army's mission is, and link our firepower capabilities with the Army. So that's a little bit about what we do. And this is copper. He's been really loud, so put it away.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Pretty intense.
Yeah, it is, definitely. The training was, I suppose, the pipeline. It took me about 2 years to get just certified. So over half of my time in the military so far has been just in schools and training. Airborne, different qualifications for our specific job. And then just getting to where we are, there's always something to do, always something to learn, always evolving. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Wow, it's so cool. What has been your favorite part so far?
I would say traveling. I've gone to almost every corner of the United States, just doing different things. Most of the time, it's honing in on our skills and learning different techniques and practicing. Essentially, there's no real peacetime mission for our specific job. So every time we go somewhere, we're essentially pretending we're in war, and we're dropping bombs on different targets, testing different munitions, testing different techniques with different aircraft. So essentially any aircraft that flies or any artillery or any mortar round that fires, any air-to-air asset, air-to-ground asset, or ground-to-ground asset, we can control. So I've even gone to San Clemente, which is an island off of the coast of San Diego, and we've controlled basically ships shooting at targets on the shore. So it's been very, very rewarding. But yeah, I think seeing all the different places and doing all the different things has been great.
That's so cool. So you get to meet a lot of different people and travel and see lots of different towns and cities and places like that. I love it. Have you gone to go overseas yet, or do you plan to do that?
Yeah, so I will be leaving. I'll be PCSing, which is a permanent change of station, and I'll be going to Germany in October. Yeah, so
that's cool.
Years, yeah.
Have you been brushing up on your German?
A little bit. I've been practicing. So the Air Force is really good about it. They, anything that you need to make your move easier, they'll afford it to you. So I've been practicing weapons versus Estelle and all those different things to get good at speaking the language. So
nice, so cool. Well, I want to hear about it when you come back.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like an amazing time. So what is it like to be in the military during this day and age? Is it more difficult, you think, or unique than any other time, especially because we're going through this COVID thing? Or
Sure, yeah. Well, so I'll speak about it from a couple different angles. One, I'll only speak from my experience because that's really the only thing I can speak to. Before the coronavirus, it was pretty standard. We had a pretty good flow going, Monday through Friday, 9, I'd say probably about 7:30 to about 4 in the afternoon, 5 in the afternoon. That's what our general work day looked like. And the occasional work trip, sprinkled in there. And, it was pretty standard, nothing too crazy. I'd say world events definitely, kind of put that in a spotlight. And anytime something happens, you'd be surprised how far down it really does trickle. So, any world event that happens, we're definitely at least getting briefed on the possibilities of how we can integrate in a situation like that. Yeah. So, there's always something for us to do, always something for us to offer to the fight. After the coronavirus happened, everything essentially shut down. So we were trying to figure out this, like, do we go to work? Do we not? Do we work from home? Do we still support these troops or these trips and these different requirements that we have? Something that's unique about my specific job is we are designated. Human flesh and bone is designated as a weapon system. So it's the only human weapon system in the world is the American JTAC. Yeah. Oh so that offers a lot of different issues and different requirements because we have to maintain the weapon system. So we're treated the same way. They still check in on us. They still make sure we're staying fit and healthy. We can go at a moment's notice. We still have all the gear and we're still getting the training that we require. So during the coronavirus, we were still trying to find a balance of how to make that work for us. And we operated as best we could while still staying safe. Luckily, we at my squadron, there's probably about 200 of us total, about 70 JTACs. We didn't have any outbreaks, luckily.
Good.
Yeah. So we've been really fortunate in that case. El Paso kind of is a hotspot right now. The cases are still going up. But across the country, there's some other squadrons of TACPs just like me who have not been so lucky to have had cases pop up. So, we've been operating pretty safe, but it's been a lot different. It's been a very strange change for us because we're always used to, working 50, 60, 70 hours a week, just working and getting the job done, and we like to do it. And then when everybody just says, no, don't go to work at all, it's different. Very different. Yeah. So.
I can imagine, and I'm sure you still have to follow the same protocols with masks and 6 feet apart, social distancing, all that kind of stuff. So, and maybe even a little bit, I don't know, is it more strict, do you think, being in the military and with your position?
I would say it's not more strict. We follow the CDC guidelines just as any company would do. The Air Force is essentially a corporation. We're just in a little bit different of a business, if you will. But our commanders, our leadership, they have to take into consideration a lot of risk. And so I don't think they're necessarily willing to buy off on a whole ton of risk. And they're always doing their best to keep us safe. So, good. There's a lot of politics really that play into that as well. So.
Yeah, I can imagine. Wow. Well, it's great to hear that they're keeping you safe and doing everything that they can. I know that's critical. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's an inherently dangerous job as it is. I don't think fighting an invisible enemy at home makes it very much easier. But
for sure. So tell me about maybe an obstacle that you've overcome, either when you first enlisted or something that, you tried to do while you were there, something that you were able to overcome and what you learned from that.
Sure. I would say the biggest obstacle for me so far has been schoolhouse. It's 86 training days. Well, it wasn't when I was going through. It's changed a lot. It's probably, I think, upper 200s in training days now, which for me back in the day, 86 training days roughly equated to about 4 months, 4 or 5 months. And if you do it right, you go through all the way through. So essentially what you do is you start with a team of about 60 guys, and you show up on day one and they just work you out and PT you and destroy you, make you feel like a bad person for 4 months straight. So and then sprinkling the knowledge and the tests and everything that you had to study for days and days and days. There was no you get to take this again. It was you pass the test or you wash back, and you had the opportunity to wash back 2 times. And essentially washing back was, let's say I started a class in August and I failed something, I would start the class that started in September. And I would just do that. I would be in that class now, and I would graduate with them if I graduated. You can do that twice. If you did it a third times, you failed. So you would get washed out. Yeah. And everything was case by case basis. I knew some guys who got integrity violations. So essentially they were cheating, and they got washed back or washed out entirely. So that was a long 4 months of just, constantly working at, your hardest and being physically trained at your hardest. And I definitely became a better person for it. And I think just learning limits that I didn't know I had, I don't think I can climb this hill another time. We've done it 400 times already. And you just do it, and you just be surprised at how many times you can do it, in a single day, or how many push-ups or how many sit-ups or how many pull-ups you can do when you're being forced to do it. So I would definitely say that is definitely a great accomplishment, and you definitely feel great after accomplishing it.
Yeah, sounds amazing.
It was a great. Yeah, it was awesome. I loved it. I would go back any day.
What an experience!
Yeah, very.
So what motivated you? What kept you pushing yourself to do all of that? Because it sounds tough.
Yeah, absolutely. It's extremely tough. I started with 60 people and we graduated with 16. So it was a very, very large washout rate. That's about the historical average as well. Roughly 85% of people who start don't finish. So I would say the thing that definitely kept me going was just not wanting to do anything else. I couldn't really imagine myself in any other job in the Air Force. I wanted something that, and don't get me wrong, every job in the Air Force matters and every job in the Air Force is important. But there is a very clear and concise difference between operations personnel and support personnel in the Air Force. Support personnel being those who make the mission happen, and support the person who's making the mission happen. I am operations personnel, and I wanted that from the beginning, and I didn't want anything else. So I knew that if I didn't make it through, I would potentially be a cook or a driver or a maintainer or something. And not saying that those jobs are bad. I just didn't want that. That wasn't for me. So just that in the back of my mind, and then obviously my family. I came from a great family who always supported me, and I think every single day, I would get home at 6:00, and I'd be like, I can't do this anymore. I'm not going to make it tomorrow. Like, tomorrow's the big day. I got too much to do. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. And so many, like, no, just make it to lunch. Okay, make it to lunch. Okay, no, I made it to lunch. Now make it to dinner. Okay, I made it to dinner. Now make it to breakfast. And I think it was those people who were just like, you got this, just keep going, don't quit. That was the biggest thing. It's just not
good. And those baby steps, it sounds like little goals. Get here,
yeah,
and you're good. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely.
Nice. Wow, that's so amazing. It sounds like your experience and your journey has just been an incredible experience. And we're just so proud of you with all the stuff you've done. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Just a huge role model.
Yeah, it's been a great experience so far.
So what words of wisdom would you give to anybody that's looking to go into the Air Force right now?
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, I would say, like I've been kind of preaching already, there's a lot of different jobs in the Air Force, and they all offer great purpose and a great contribution to the fight. But I think really research, what you would want to do in any branch of the military, not just, the Air Force, and decide. And once you decide, just stick to it. Don't quit. I mean, there's been many, many days where I thought like that was the easiest thing anybody's ever said, just don't quit. But when you have everything going on, it's some of the hardest, or it is the hardest thing not to do, as easy as it might sound. So that's really what it's about. It's just not quitting. And I know it's kind of cliche and everybody says that, but you can get hurt. You can get knocked down. You can get, your people will take care of you. But you have to make the conscious decision in your mind just to keep going and not quit. And you got to find a motivation that's going to help you do that.
Sure.
You kind of already heard about some of what my motivations were, but I think that's the biggest thing is just picking what you want to do, being something that you're passionate about and that you truly want to do. And that's what's going to also help you, with your motivations not to quit. So.
Yeah, for sure. A couple of things you said have sort of been a thread with all these interviews that I've done. I think not giving up has been a big thing for sure. People that know that it's sort of been one of the hardest challenges that they've had to overcome, but they had that desire, that ganas, I think one of my interviewees said. And so I think that's huge, is just knowing that somebody else has gone before you and, knowing that not giving up is what's going to get you to that next step and to help you reach that goal. And it also sounds like when you talk about passion, another one of my interviewees said that if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I really love that saying because it sounds like no matter how hard it is, you still are going to push yourself not to give up because it's something that you love. And so, yeah, it's really, really good. Really great advice. And again, I'm just so proud of you. That's awesome. You are definitely, you're a role model for all the kids back home, for, a source of pride for all the people from back home. And so we're just know that we're in your corner supporting you, and we appreciate your service tremendously. And thank you for all the work you're doing.
Great. Thank you for your support. Yeah, it's been an awesome journey, and I definitely have a lot to be thankful for coming from a small community like San Luis or anywhere really in the San Luis Valley. It's all the same. So yeah, I've learned a lot, and it's lasted at least so far in my career. So.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see what comes next for you. And again, I want to hear all about Germany when you get back.
Of course. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I don't really know anything about it yet, so we'll figure it out when we get there, I guess.
It'll be fun. Good. Well, thank you so much, and have a great day. Appreciate you taking the time to do this with me.
Okay, great. Thank you for having me. We'll see you.
Sure. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. This has been a La Gente Legacy production and successful in the SLV military series. Stay tuned for more.